Well, guys, I go 9 days without recording a single episode, and now I'm back for the second time today. But what if I told you that the IRS rules allow drivers to show a monetary loss on their DoorDash and Uber Eats driving income? How is this, you ask? I got somebody screaming at me on the page that I don't pay my fair share of taxes, yada, 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 because I show a monetary loss. Here is why, okay? And this is perfect. This is actually as determined by the IRS itself. The mileage deduction in the tax year 2025 was 70 cents per mile. Whether that's your actual figure or not is irrelevant. That is the rules. That is what you are allowed to claim as a deduction. If that deduction takes you under what you actually earned in payouts from DoorDash or Uber Eats, then that is, by mathematical definition, a monetary loss. Again, 70 cents per mile, whether that's your actual monetary expense figure or not. That is what the IRS allows. Period. The end of story. It shouldn't even be up for debate. But people are too stupid to read what I'm saying, and they don't understand anything, and they have to just go out there and make their comments and just say what they will. But that's what it is. It's 70 cents per mile last year. This coming year, this number typically gets adjusted a little bit upward every year by the IRS. So the next year it might be 72 cents per mile. I don't know yet. Nobody will know until next spring. But that is the answer. 70 cents per mile. You track your miles with whatever mileage tracker you want and use that. In my particular case, I use TurboTax, business edition of TurboTax, and it guides me through that, of course. TurboTax is good for that. You put in your numbers and it calculates it for you. And I always check over my actual tax form that is filed, the 1040 and the schedule for basically small business deductions and income. I take a look at this final form and it does show that I do have a very small loss. It's not a ridiculous amount. It's never triggered an audit for me, and I don't think it ever will, because I am tracking what they believe. I believe that they get many, many millions of returns like this every single year. There's nothing unusual about this at all. There's not going to trigger an audit because I'm not claiming that I lose several $1,000s per year on driving. It's usually several hundred. And it offsets my W-2 income and the taxes there. That is the benefit that I get from this mileage deduction. Again, written hard into tax code. This is what they allow. 70 cents per mile, period. Which is still much better than itemizing your expenses, which is also an option, by the way. You can itemize your actual expenses, which include 5 different components: gas, car payment, which again doesn't apply to everyone, insurance, which absolutely applies to everybody, depreciation, and deferred maintenance, and gasoline, of course. Deferred maintenance is things like oil changes, tire replacements, tire rotations, things like that. Light bulbs that go out, you name it, all the small stuff. Windshield wiper blade replacements, things of that nature are all under deferred maintenance. These are expenses that pile up, but are not necessarily paid for every time you drive. But the IRS allows you 2 options. Either you calculate all of this yourself, or you just take the 70 cents per mile standard deduction. And again, in my case, that does result in a small monetary loss. Not an exorbitant one, but a small one, a few $100s a year. If I were to start claiming it and get let's say $8,000 per year loss, then it would probably raise some red flags and trigger an audit. But in my case, it never has. And in most people's cases, I don't think it ever will or ever has either. So that is my second edition today. Yes, what if I told you that claiming a small loss on your driving income is very legitimate and very legal? It's within the rules of the IRS, TurboTax wouldn't do this the wrong way illegally, because then they would be in trouble. So that is what it is. That's it for today. I will talk to you next time, and as always, peace out, homies.